My name is Holly Seacon, and I'm the Associate Editor here at GreenBiz. I'm here at Verge 19 in GreenBiz Studio today with Dana Gunders, Principal at NextCourse. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, at this event and kind of in general, we've been talking a lot about food waste and what we can do to take action against it. Is there anything that you see as kind of the future of action against food waste?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing couple of years. I've seen a whole new wave of interest in acting on food waste, and I think that's primarily coming from the climate angle and the fact that reducing food waste is ranked number 3 on the project drawdown list of 100 solutions to climate change. And I think of many of those solutions, it's like the easiest, cheapest, fastest way to really do something. And I think that's true for businesses, and I think it then resonates for people in their homes and in their own lives as well. And so we're just seeing an amazing amount of traction of new businesses who, maybe are not in the food industry but have a corporate cafeteria or even more broadly are feeding 30,000 employees around the world that are looking at, hey, wow, we actually have a big footprint in this area too. So a lot of energy there. And we're seeing different coalitions starting to form around acting. So, for instance, on the West Coast, there's something called the Pacific Coast Collaborative, which is state and local governments from California all the way up through Vancouver. And they are banding together to commit to reducing food waste by 50% by 2030. And they're inviting businesses to make that commitment with them, and then finding resources and technical assistance and creating this public-private partnership to really start to generate collective action on it.
Where are some of the opportunities to take this action along the food value chain?
I think there's something for everyone to do on this topic. It's different from like a much more capital intensive solution to climate change, right? So of course we can all start in our own homes, and there's that whole thing. And similarly, I think depending on where a business is in the supply chain, that's the obvious place to start. For a long time we've been looking at farms and produce goes unharvested on farms, and that there's an opportunity to really capture that, especially because it's nutritious. A new report just this past week that came out brought some new information around the middle of the supply chain and found that globally about 14% of food is lost after the farm but before the store, which is kind of eye-opening. And what was particularly interesting about that was that it had different averages. This is a UN Food and Agriculture Organization report, and they had an average of about 11% of food being lost in Africa, whereas here in North America, where we have cold chains and we're able to perfect roads and perfect refrigeration and all, we're actually losing 16% of our food. So to me, that's a big question mark of like, what are we doing? Because it's not that it's being lost because, trucks are breaking down. There's some design in our system in the way that we're choosing to choose our products or store them or move them around that's causing that. And that's all just the beginning of the supply chain. But really, when you look at kind of the grand pie of where this is happening, the bulk of it is actually happening at what we call the consumption level. And that's everything from restaurants to food service operations and cafeterias, catering, and then in our homes. And that's, if I had to pick one place to start, it would probably be with prepared foods that are happening in restaurants, large and small.
What's some of the work that you're currently doing that you're excited about in this space?
I just did a really fun project with a group called the Climate Collaborative, and they have all these natural foods retailers who have committed to acting on climate change, and food waste being one of the areas of action. So it was really fun because I got to go to all of these smaller retailers that are, busy just trying to stay alive in a really competitive marketplace, and create a toolkit that handed them sort of so they could not have to do all the research, but just really handed them solutions that some of their peers are doing and that are working that they could implement right away. That was a fun one.
What advice would you give to other sustainability professionals looking to take action against food waste, either individually or within their own organizations?
People love this topic, like strangely almost. There's a lot of fun to it, and I think that comes from, some of the solutions being about how you use food. People love food and they love to talk about it. So if you can give them tips on how to use it better, or how to, a recipe that does this, or a little trick to storing it, it's a fun topic to bring up, and I have found in the 10 years I've been working on it that it resonates really, really well. So I think my advice to sustainability professionals would be not to shy away from messaging around this, whether it be about, trying to get your employees or others to do something in their homes, or if you're trying to, one challenge is often that when people are serving employees in corporate cafeterias, they feel a pressure to, for them to have a certain experience, and they shy away from some things that they think might deter that. And so I don't think we need to shy away from this. I think people really like to see that their employers are working on something like food waste reduction, and they're even willing to kind of give a little in their experience in a cafeteria or whatnot, to know that that's happening.
Well, thanks so much for coming in today to GreenBiz Studio. We really appreciate you taking the time and having you here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.